Now, before we talk about this week's show in Germany, let's do a quick rundown of the news.
Okay, well, I have some news for you regarding Bellator 160.
Go for it.
Total disclosed payout for the card was $300,000 and $2,500. So, not even $500,000. Under $500,000 for all the fighters together on this card. And the biggest payday, by far, was the two fighters in the main event. Because Benson Henderson got $75,000 just to show, no win bonus. So he got a flat $75,000. And Patricio Freire in the loss collected $50,000.
That's it?
Yeah. So that's a third of your budget for the entire card right there is those two guys.
That's crazy. But, it is what it is. It's a Friday night show, big Bellator 160 show, but I mean, it's not the payday that I was expecting, to be honest.
I saw that reaction from the Maniacs on MMA Mania, and they were all going, why is Benson Henderson only getting $75,000? They seemed to think he was being underpaid. And then somebody pointed out, if Benson Henderson takes 3 fights a year in Bellator, he's making $250,000. That's really not so bad.
No. All right, so after his win this past weekend, Anthony Pettis wants to be the UFC's third two-division champ. Stevie, who are the only two men to have championships in 2 weight classes for UFC?
2 weight you don't mean simultaneously?
No.
Well, BJ Penn is one of them. Let's see, the other would be... Couture.
There you go. I thought you'd get a lot quicker, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I had to just run down the list of Hall of Famers and check one name off after another.
Oh, man. All right, so Chad Laprise on his victory, now that he's the welterweight, wants to fight Ross Pearson on the Toronto show in December.
All right.
Laprise and I'm surprised Pearson's still on the roster.
Really? I think he's in kind of the warm body role. Like, we need somebody on a card, throw him out there.
I guess. I'm just not, I don't see it. I mean, in the UK, maybe, to build the sport over there a little bit more, but, I'm not a fan.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think his time of relevance has passed after losing 3 out of his last 4, and the only win he's got is Laprise. Then, you know what? Give Laprise a chance to revenge that.
All right, so last week we talked about Rory McDonald possibly signing with Bellator. It was announced on the Bellator show that has become official. However, with the injuries he sustained over his time in UFC, we probably won't see Rory in the Bellator cage until the summer of next year.
Yeah. I had a feeling when we saw the interview with him during that show that he knew he wasn't going to be fighting for a while.
Somebody asked me if you could name a wrestler to go with this guy, and this was before the Ottawa fight. Somebody asked me, who would you compare him to in wrestling? And I said Lance Storm. Mm-hmm. Tell me I'm wrong, Stevie.
I think Lance Storm actually has more personality.
Oh, that's funny.
No, it's not funny. It's true.
All right. For those who don't know, Lance Storm's gimmick was basically one of Mr. Personality during his time in WWE. And
if I can be serious for a moment.
Yes. So his interview skills, I mean, he's no,
that's
Rory
the thing.
McDonald will never be confused with Conor McGregor.
He's never gotten any better at it. That's the mystifying part to me. This guy was the number 1 contender forever and ever, and by your accounts and by some other accounts, has been within a hair's breadth of being the champion. And in all that time, he never developed the personality that you need to be in that position. You want people to want to see you fight. And yeah, he had great fights, but you gotta be able to talk him up too. And he's like a robot when somebody interviews him. I'm happy to be here. They're giving me opportunities that I couldn't get anywhere else, and I'll fight anybody. I want that title shot. Come on!
I mean, he'll never say the words red panty night.
No, not in a million years. Not even if you handed him a script and told him to read it, would he ever say that.
No. Now, we talked about New York UFC 205, and Stephen Thompson is convinced that until the UFC tells him otherwise, that fight will happen again with Woodley at the UFC 205 show in New York. I had a question about this, though. Yes, New York City, it's a huge deal. I get that. But is there really a lot of pressure to put a 5-star show on this debut event in New York State? Because you're going to be there multiple times. Do you really want to be there with I know they always have the big show in December for the end of the year, but this isn't the big end of year December show. You want to save some of these big fights for the last show of the year in Vegas, isn't it?
You would think so.
I don't know. I just don't think this will be, you don't need to have all guns blazing for the first show in New York. It will sell out. Do not worry. This show will sell out. Like, people will frame the ticket stubs. They'll buy all the merch. They'll do everything because it's the first time in New York for UFC. But how many title fights are rumored for this show?
Of a lot.
Yeah. It's more rumored than the UFC 200 card at this point. And that's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody and their mother wants to be on this card, but you gotta make some tough calls here. Alright, let's move on. Let's see, what else in my notes do I have to talk about here? Mercy and Held has a new employer. UFC.
Yeah, I broke that story last week on MMA Mania, and it finally came to fruition because first he said that he was exercising the option not to return to Bellator and that they were parting on good terms, but he said, my future lies elsewhere, hopefully with UFC, and he started putting the feelers out and tweeted all the people, the matchmakers, the president of the UFC, everybody he could rally in on a tweet, and got everybody to retweet it and say, guys, retweet or like this if you think I should sign with UFC. And it worked, obviously. He got UFC's attention, and they offered him a deal.
All right, so you've been following him for a while now, correct?
Oh, yeah, I've interviewed him, too. You can go to youtube.com/AngryMarks.com and see one of my interviews with him from a fight, I believe, in Mulvane, Kansas.
Who would you put him up against in his first fight? A big name or someone lower end on the scale?
Well, he's only lost to 2 people in the last 3 or 4 years. One of them he just beat, and that was Dave Jansen. There's one other guy that's currently in UFC that he could get a rematch with somewhere down the line, and I'd like to see it.
But who, I mean, is there someone like...
You're saying who? Like an owl? Who?
Who?
Ill Will Brooks, that's who.
Ooh, I like that fight.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah.
See him do it again in UFC and really dominate and see who's the better man. Because last time
don't put that fight on Fight Pass. Let's see it on the main card.
Right. Last time it went the full 5 rounds. Now, it's obviously not a title fight in this case, but that actually probably works to the advantage of both men because they don't have to conserve their energy if it's a 3-round fight. They can go out there and let it all hang out.
Absolutely. They can go slobber knocker mode for 3 rounds for sure. All right, so that's the last thing I had on my list because I know you've interviewed him in the past, so I wanted to get your take on it for sure. All right, so let's move on to this weekend's show in Germany with a main event. Man, I hate to use this comparison, but Age in the Cage?
I don't know if that's... I feel like both of them have had a career resurgence in the last couple of years. I think Arlovsky has been better than he used to be, and I think Barnett was on a pretty good run there for a while. So, yeah, neither one of these guys are young, but I don't think they're like Dan Henderson old. I think they're...
No, but their combined fight records, they're looking at almost 80 fights, Stevie. 80 fights!
Yeah? I'm not
That's a lot of tread on the tire. That's a lot of octagon or cage time there. But I see your point about it's not like a Dan Henderson situation.
Right, where he was one loss away from being done forever, and now he's one win away from getting a title shot. It's funny how a day in a fight changes everything in the life of Dan Henderson.
Main event is on. Okay, this is a strictly Fight Pass show. So don't look for it on Fox Sports 1. Don't look for it on TSN. It's Fight Pass exclusive. However, in Canada, the main card will be on the Fight Network. I do want to mention that.
Yeah, they've sent me at least 2 press releases that confirm that.
And the start time is a little bit different because of the time difference. The main card starts at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
So the prelims, if we start at the bottom here, they start around, I'd say, 11:45. And they've got some decent names on the prelims. I mean, Rustam Kabalov, Leonardo Silva, Ashley Evans-Smith, Peter Sabata, Nicholas Dahl. I mean, these are some good fights here. It's not just a bunch of local fighters on the prelims.
Oh, it's a good show.
And who's covering it for the website again?
For MMA Media, yours truly will be up bright and early in the morning and getting that cup of coffee in so I can do the entire card from the prelims all the way through the main event. So if you want live play-by-play of UFC from Germany with Arlovsky and Barnett in the main event, just come to MMAmania.com and your boy Stevie J will have you covered.
Now, that's 11:45 Eastern, so 10:45 Central.
That's why I said I'll be up early and getting that cup of coffee, and I won't be sleeping in on this Saturday.
No breakfast with Fedor, but still a good show.
No.
Now, looking at the main card, you've got 4 fights here. Nick Hein against Tai Hein Bang. That one's a good opener because I think, I hate to say this, but this first fight on the main card could end with a bang. Tell me I'm wrong on that one, Stevie.
I don't think you're wrong.
No, I think it's very explosive, and there's a reason why this fight's on first for the main card, because, I'm sorry, a Fight Pass exclusive is exclusively for a hardcore audience. Some of these fights are not going to excite the casual fan. You have to do your research on Bang and Hein to really see what we're talking about here. I got Bang winning this via... Boy, oh boy. I'm going to say second round stoppage, Stevie.
Second round stoppage. Trying to decide if I agree with you on that or not. Well, fuck it. I agree.
Alright. Ryan Bader against Iri Latifi. Yes, Darth Bader is relegated to a Fight Pass show after... main carding a bunch of fights in the past. And Iri Latifi is nothing to sneeze at. This is going to be a war here, and I'm really excited for this fight.
I think Bader is excited just because he's not facing Rumble Johnson right now.
That as well, yes. But, I might be bucking the trend here. I'm going to go with Latifi.
I think the Sledgehammer, as he's known in some circles, has a chance if he can make this a brawl. Because he is 2 out of 3 with knockouts in his last 3 fights, and he is on a 3-fight win streak. But if he lets Bader fight Bader's kind of fight, the one that... You
wrestle him to the ground and pin him there.
Right. If he lets Bader get to his legs and double him and sit on top of him, he's got no chance.
I just hope he doesn't bore the German crowd if he does that.
Well, you said you're excited about this fight, so you better be prepared.
I am, because I think Bader is going to get his butt kicked.
I'm not as confident in that as you are. I think Bader could see this as an opportunity to return to his ways of old.
I actually think Bader would be better suited in that environment as Bellator.
Perhaps.
I think he'd flourish better there. I think I don't want to say he's a big fish in a big pond, but I think he'd be better suited for the waters of Bellator, if you know what I'm saying. His career trajectory is leaning more towards that as opposed to someone on the rise.
I don't know why, Peter, but I keep getting distracted by something going on in the background. Do you have the window open over there?
Yeah, it's we're getting another heat wave here. It's almost 40 degrees Celsius upcoming, so it's starting to get a nice little cross breeze going here.
Yeah, but it's not the breeze that I'm hearing. It sounds like music.
Might be my neighbors.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a party, man.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so let's move on to the co-main. Jan Blachowicz against Alexander Gustafsson. This one, Gustafsson has to win, right?
You would think so. It's kind of do or die for him at this point.
Alright, well, Blachowicz, I mean, he's nothing to sneeze at, though. I mean, he could catch Gustafsson very easily here.
Well, that wouldn't be surprising, especially given the way that Rumble Johnson rattled his chin. We know that tends to change fighters. When they get caught that way, they're never quite the same way again. And Blachowicz got a lot of power. He's overall, out of his 19 wins, 5 are by knockout. And it's not that long ago that we saw him do it to Ilir Latifi. So it could happen here again. But if Gustafsson fights like the guy who fought John Jones way, way back when, if he fights a smart, tactical fight, he can win this on points.
I don't want to see this at points. I want to get a finish here, though.
I don't think you want to try. You get into a slugfest with Blachowicz, it could go very poorly. That's like trying to get into a slugfest with Latifi. You don't really want to do that.
Yeah, but you want to trust the judges?
I think he'd have a better chance trusting the judges in Germany. That's a little closer to home.
You're hoping for a hometown decision.
It's not his hometown. Obviously, he's from Sweden, but I'm just saying, at least he's in Europe.
Yes. And Blachowicz is from?
Poland. Yes, I know.
Thank you.
I'm saying, I don't think, if he was in the United States and facing an American, he could get screwed by the quote-unquote hometown decision if you want to look at it that way. But if they're both from Europe, but he's doing well in the fight, I don't think there's a hometown decision that favors Blachowicz here.
Well, I've got Gustafsson winning by knockout, but if it goes to the judges, I could see Blachowicz, like, I don't know, stunning, maybe getting 2 or 3 judges here by split decision. But if the fight is stopped, it's going to Gustafsson.
I think that's fair.
Now, main event time, Arlovski and Barnett. I mean, these guys don't even need much of an introduction, that's for sure.
No.
I'm more confident in a Barnett victory than Arlovski here. I don't know why. It's a feeling I have. I don't know. The way Barnett has maintained himself over the last little while, like his last few fights, I guess, just gives me more of a feeling that he's going to win here. Arlovski, I don't know. It seems like not fluky, but like, I don't know. Like, it's not the Arlovski of old, that's for sure. It's a second coming, perhaps, or second win, perhaps, but I don't know. I think Barnett's got this one. By 3rd round knockout.
I would say by catch wrestling to a unanimous decision.
You think he's gonna? What's he doing? Getting out pointing in the wrestling this week?
Hey, one guy will do it on the feet with his hands, and the other guy will do it on the ground with his legs. So,
yeah. I mean, there's some great wrestling on this card. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just think if you're on this show and you know you're some of these fights are rankings fights, I guess you could say. You're probably getting an advisory about a couple of these fights. You don't want to, do the NCAA pin him down for 3 rounds mode. You want to, increase your stock in the company here. Do you want to do that by a decisive victory?
True.
I don't know. I like the fighters who
all
want
right.
to
Now I
excite
know
the
what
fans.
it is. It's not going on outside. You must be like tapping the desk or something. I hear thump, 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 thump. You're tapping a cup, or you're tapping the desk, or you're tapping something.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I hear it right now. Thump, thump.
I'm holding the microphone. It's just my hand.
Well, then the microphone is slapping your hand or something. Did you drink too much Jolt Cola? You must be twitchy over there.
No. Jolt Cola?
Yeah.
We don't have that up here.
Well, I don't think anybody has it anywhere anymore.
I think, I told you we finally got that Juggalo Coke. Some of the convenience stores carry it. That's about it.
Oh, you mean Faygo?
That's the one. But no, there's no Jolt. I don't think there's any Jolt Cola up here. I'd be surprised if it was up here, to be honest. But, anyways, I've got Barnett. Who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I go with Barnett.
Alright. Well, that's gonna do it for this week. We've covered all 3 shows. We covered the news. Stevie, what's on tap for Thursday night AMP?